With this video, we're going to create a banner animation using the timeline in Photoshop. I'll start by turning off all the layers with the exception of the background and the face. I'll select the layer with the face and I'll move it off to the right of my document. And then in my timeline, I'll add a new frame. Next, I'll drag the face back onto screen. And then in the timeline, I'll click on a series of these circles and that will give me a tweening window. I'll set the frame rate to 30 and I'll turn off the opacity and I'll click OK. Now if I tap my spacebar, I should see the face move on screen over that 30 frame duration. Next we'll bring the title on from the left hand side. I'm scrolling to the end of the timeline with the little gray bar at the bottom of the timeline, and I'll go and select frame number 32. I'll select the layer with the title and turn the eyeball on, place it where I think I might like it to go once it comes to rest, and holding the shift, I'll drag it off the left hand side of the document. I'll add a new frame and I'll place it where I'd like it to be when it comes to rest, and then once again I'll click on a series of small circles on the timeline, leaving it at 30 and clicking OK. I'll tap the space bar to see what I have so far. Now I have it so that I engage the viewer from the right and then from the left. We're going to bring the names of the actors in this series down from the top. Going to the last frame, which is 63, I'll select the layer with the actor's name and turn the eyeball on. I'll place it where I would like it to be once it comes to rest. And then holding the shift, I'll drag it directly off the top, just outside the document edge. I'll add a new frame and then I'll drag it where I want it to be. I'll go to the bottom of the timeline, clicking on the little circles, access the tweening window, leave it at 30 and click OK. I'll save it and I'll tap my space bar to play it to see what we have. Next we're going to introduce the very last component that will come up from the bottom. So we engage the viewer from the right, then the left with the text and the face, and we're engaging the viewers from the top down, so we want to bring them back into the screen by going from the bottom up. I'll select the layer with the logo and the show time now streaming. I'll place it where I think it should be once it stops moving. At the very last frame in my timeline, which is now 94, I'll hold the shift key and drag it off the screen. I'll add a new frame and I'll return it to where I want it to come to rest, and I'll click on the tweening button, leaving it at 30 and clicking OK. If I tap my spacebar, I should have the banner completed. You'll notice that the timeline repeats itself. And now I'll export it as a video file. I'll go to File, Export, and at the bottom you'll see Render Video. Now if you're using 2022, you would have to go to Save for Web Legacy, and you should see in the upper right hand corner it should be set for GIF. So when I click on Save, I can name it, direct it to where I can access it, and if I were to play it by tapping the space bar once, I should see something like this. It will only play once it has been generated. Now if you are using 2023 or later, you would go to File, Export, Render Video, and that would give you the opportunity to generate video, and you can see it's set for H.264. I'll leave the settings as they are and I'll put it where I can access it. And now that I've rendered it, here's the MP4 video file.